Arguably one of the most important staples of any home gym besides weights, a bar, and a rack is the adjustable bench. It's also one of those categories that there are just so many different options to choose from, so it really boils down to preference, price, size, features, and even aesthetics to suit an individual's needs. However, there are always going to be options in the adjustable bench space that are really great for most people, in most home gyms, and in most training situations. This one, I think, is exactly that bench. This is the newly released XMARK Black Diamond Commercial Adjustable Weight Bench. After using this for the last few months, it's now officially dethroned my Rogue Adjustable Bench 3.0 and my Rep AB5000 Zero Gap as my two prior favorite benches for more reasons I will get into shortly. This bench is simple, beautiful, overbuilt, and it passes the Incline Wobble test with flying colors. Let's check it out. Hey guys, this is Michael with the Jungle Gym Reviews. Today we're reviewing the XMARK Black Diamond Adjustable Bench. It's one of XMARK's newest product offerings. It's a ladder style FI bench with technically a commercial designation, but it's well suited for home gym use. The ladder style allows for super quick angle adjustments because unlike a pop-in system, you literally just lift up the back, up or down, according to the desired height setting. This bench also has these nicely knurled knobs that help you grab and grip the seat back ladder mechanism to adjust it, which is just a nice added touch of quality. Speaking to the adjustments themselves, the back pad has 7 positions: 0, 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, and 85 degrees. And the seat has 3, 0, 15, and 30 degrees. The seat and the back pads themselves are 2.5-inch thick pads, which are nicely firm and dense. After years-long searching, this is actually the Goldilocks pad for me, in part due to the back pad width, which we'll talk about later, but equally due to the fact that this padding feel is firm and provides a lot of support, complemented with equally enough cushion to still feel comfortable. I love my Rogue Adjustable Bench 3.0, but the super firm pad tends to be a love it or hate it deal, which for a lot of people feels like benching on a slab of wood, which was my initial experience the first few weeks with that bench until I got used to it. This XMARK Black Diamond pad cover or vinyl on this bench is the newer grippy and lightly dimpled style that a lot of companies are using these days, which just adds to the comfort and secure feeling you get during use when sweating or just wanting to stay in place during pressing. For whatever reason too, the grippy vinyl here is just visually appealing, although I have found whenever companies do use this material, it seems to show a little more skin marks and sweat, just a little bit more than a flat textured finish. Speaking to the aesthetics, this is one thing XMARK nailed here. The nice matte black powder coat, the stainless steel ladder system, logo plates, and laser cut numbers for the angle adjustments, the knurled knobs, the embossed logo on the back pad, even the subtle angular shaping and the tapering of the seat. All of these things together just really make this bench look and feel modern, premium, and complete the nice, sleek, and aesthetic look this bench is going for. One of the other features that makes this bench really nice is the rubber or similar grippy coated front handle, which feels exactly like a hammer strength bench at the gym. Also, since it's oriented across the face of the bench, it's super easy and comfortable to grab. I know currently some companies are going with the knurled handle option as a selling point feature, but to me personally, I don't care as long as I can grip it and it lasts forever, so this one looks and feels like it'll do just that. This bench also offers a spotter stand baked into the rear feet that doesn't require a separate attachment purchase like some other companies' offerings do. Although I would say this is less a stand and more just 2 small diamond texture plate cutouts welded on either top side of the frame, it's still a nice gesture to acknowledge that people may want to have a spotter option. And then from a price perspective, I would rather them include it and you not need it than need it and you have to go buy another $100 plus attachment for. Lastly, again, I want to mention this is just an FI bench, meaning it does flat and incline, F and I, but technically not advertised as decline. Although you can definitely do decline bench on it by just using it backwards. It's just not labeled a true decline bench because the seat doesn't allow adjustment below 0 and there's no leg roller attachment or way to lock your legs in place to be truly considered such. As I mentioned earlier, a large part of the consideration when buying any bench is going to be your individual preferences. With this bench, I found many of the design components fit perfectly in my gym for me, especially from a weight, stability, maneuverability, and durability standpoint compared to some of the other benches I've previously owned. The bench itself weighs 113 pounds, which is right on par for all the heavy-duty benches in this high-end, mostly welded frame, adjustable bench category. The overall footprint of this bench is really what I appreciate, as it's a compact 46 inches long by 28 inches wide. For a home gym, this has been the perfect size bench for me. My last two benches, again, were the Rogue Adjustable Bench 3.0 and the Rep AB5000 Zero Gap, now replaced by the Blackwing, and those were a similar overall weight, but about 10 inches longer lengths, which made them feel about 20 pounds heavier and more awkward to move comparatively. While I never had a problem fitting those into my gym or thinking they were too long at the time, when I started to use this XMARK Black Diamond bench, I instantly noticed how much lighter it felt and how much more maneuverable it was, simply because of the shorter wheelbase and overall length. Even though the weight is pretty much technically the same, this bench feels significantly lighter and is just so much easier to move with the handle than the others. The other dimension to note is that this bench is using an 11-inch width pad, since the commercial benches tend to use a narrower pad width than the home gym-oriented ones do currently. The common bench pad trend I've seen over the last few years is at least 12 inches wide, and everyone from Rep to Griffin, Titan, Vulcan, etc. seem to offer a 12-inch width pad as the standard on their higher-end adjustable benches. This is one of those things where you may have to experience what works for you. After a few prior benches, I personally went to a 12-inch Rep pad, upgraded later to the 14-inch wide, and neither felt quite right until I tried the 11-inch width on the Rogue bench, which was perfect, and is ultimately what piqued my interest in trying this XMARK one here. To me personally, in this team full ROM and science-based fitness era, an 11-inch pad width is just the perfect width to allow appropriate support while maintaining the most comfortable full range of motion for really deep dumbbell benching, chest-supported rows, shoulder pressing, etc. The full back pad dimensions on this XMARK Black Diamond bench are 11-inch wide by 35.5-inch length, and the seat is 12.75 inches long, tapering from the 11-inch width down to 4 inches. The height of this pad from the floor is also exactly on par with competitors at 17 3/4 inches from the floor to the top of the pad while in the flat setting. The last major spec this XMARK bench boasts, which probably has to do something with its commercial name and rating, is the whopping 2,000 pound weight capacity. That's right, 2,000 pounds. For every single person who ever uses this and is simply just a mere mortal, we likely aren't capable or concerned with the capacity of any reputable brand using adequate engineering materials, hardware, thickness of steel, and my guess is here they might have beefed up some of those specific areas for that commercial rating, which, to my knowledge, is in part due to insurance purposes requiring a higher threshold than for personal use. But if you buy this for your home gym, it's good to know your whole family, car, and house can be supported by this bench together at any given time. So typically, I like to have a section in my videos where I essentially answer the question, how well does it work in real life? And if I haven't made it clear already, this bench works awesome. Unfortunately, for things like barbells and benches and weight, it's harder to be a little more nuanced in saying it works, and I always hope the answer is that it does as intended. Fortunately, this XMARK bench here has treated me better than my Concept 2 rowing machine clone that snapped in half on me, and I will even say this XMARK did one step better and maybe unknowingly to them. Hopefully everyone knows the best way to determine the stability of your bench is by doing the Incline bench wobble test, which is where you put your bench in some moderate incline and see how much it wiggles and wobbles with your hands. A few years ago, I would have told you my Rep AB5000 was great. Then with the Rogue bench, I thought it couldn't get any better. So now, obviously, I wanted to see how the XMARK stacked up, and lo and behold, to my complete surprise, it blew the already great Rogue bench out of the water. This bench does not move in an incline wobble test at all. Period. None. Zero. It's by far the most stable bench I've owned, and has literally had me questioning how on earth they did that. If I put my engineering hat on, it means they probably had thick enough materials, tighter manufacturing and connecting point tolerances, good center of gravity, weight distribution, etc. But even considering all that, side by side in real life, I can't see really a manufacturing or visual difference that would indicate such a good difference in performance. But trust me when I tell you, you'll be impressed. So besides some of the already enticing features, comfort, stability, and aesthetics, I want to touch on why someone would buy this bench versus any other, and who should this bench be for. The price of the bench is $699 with free shipping, which is definitely at the high end of the home gym-oriented price range. Again, this is actually geared towards commercial use, but I think for us home gym owners, we hear commercial and think, great, it'll last me forever, which it should with this overall build quality. One thing to note on the pricing though is that XMARK often runs sales and promotions, so you should be able to snag at least a 10% discount with an email sign up or similar, depending on the time of year. I know at the end of November through early December 2024 for their Black Friday promotion, they'll be running 15% off $350 and up purchases. So that would bring the price of this down to under $600, which is such an incredible value in my opinion. Other reasons you should choose this bench over its competitors is if you want something compact, still built like a tank, and still able to comfortably accommodate any height users simply because just the frame is smaller and the difference in the back pad length is minimal. You also choose this bench if you specifically want that 11-inch back pad, which was a huge sell again for me personally. The other main reason you would want this is if you want one of, if not the most stable adjustable bench on the market that is super easy to move around in tight spaces. I also wanted to point out that the bench gap between the seat pad and the back pad has been a big topic in the last few years. And this XMARK Black Diamond also features just a minimal pad gap of 1 inch when in the flat position, and it's less to 0 as soon as you get to any sort of incline. I would say they did a really good job on this as well because coming from a 0 gap bench, the gap on here was essentially not noticeable. One of the last cool features that I also wanted to mention was the quick assembly. I saw the website advertise that the bench came pre-assembled and could be fully set up in 10 minutes. I said, okay, sure, 10 minutes, that's one of those like marketing gimmicks where it's 10 minutes asterisk. Someone had like a NASCAR pit crew with wrenches and sockets all ready to go. So, of course, for science, I decided to time it, and to my surprise, it literally took me 9 minutes from opening the box to reading the instructions and putting it fully together, which was pretty impressive. Since the frame was in fact pre-assembled, there were literally only 3 frame bolts needed and a handful of pad bolts just to be tightened with standard tools. So just know that's a nice plus, especially when you want to get this thing out of the box and just set up and using it as soon as possible without having to also dial it in to make sure it's perfectly set up and stable. So overall, the XMARK Black Diamond Commercial Weight Bench is an awesome adjustable weight bench and will be my exclusive primary choice weight bench moving forward in my gym till another one can come dethrone it. It's an absolute tank of a bench. It's perfectly comfortable and designed to fit my particular needs and the needs of a majority of home gym users out there. At $699 full price, I'm not sure it does quite enough to exclusively stick out from the rest of the pack, unless like me, you really want the specific features this offers, like the overall shorter profile, 11-inch pad width, lighter perceived and easier to move bench weight, and the insane stability. But if you can get it on 10% or more discount, I highly recommend it. Now, the only real improvement that would take this bench to the next level would be either a built-in or add-on dedicated upright storage stand, like the other comparable benches in this category. Again, maybe this was intentional since this is geared for a commercial setting where people, A, don't stand up their benches, and B, it could technically be considered some sort of liability or insurance risk if it fell over. For what it's worth though, you can 100%, and I definitely do stand it up when it's not in use. It just rests on the back pad pretty easily because the gravitational weight of the bench holds it from going anywhere. And because of the weight distribution, I'm not at all worried about it tipping over unless you really forcibly push it. Just know that this one just doesn't have a dedicated stand technically built in. So guys, that's it for the review on the XMARK Black Diamond Commercial Weight Bench. Thank you for checking out this review, and as always, if you have any questions, please comment down below. I'll be happy to answer or at least try. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and stay tuned for some more great reviews coming soon, along with some cool, athletic, and comfortable clothing merch. If you're interested in purchasing this bench, also please use the link in the description to support the channel. Thank you so much for tuning into the Jungle Gym Reviews. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. Peace.